Hey everyone, it's Body Bags here with another Top 8 RBET deck profile. Here we got Fitz, the famous Fitz. What'd you do today? What'd you got?
What's going on, YouTube? Today I got my first ever IRL Premier Top, and I played Zombies. I got Top 8, just lost to DB Hero in Top 8, but very happy with how I played and happy with my run, and
Nice.
It was a very fun event, and I'm pumped with my result.
I'm glad, man. Yeah, I came all the way from California. Glad to have
Yes,
you.
sir.
Cool. Want to get into it?
Sure thing, yeah.
Let's do it.
So this is my Diva Zombie with Instant Fusion package splashed in. Any zombie deck, you play the 2 Goblin, and then your 1-0s that you search off Goblin, nothing earth-shattering there. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. For my Recruiter package, I played Triple Turtle and 1 Tomato for a 4th Recruiter. I've done 2 and 2 in the past before, but decided to go Triple Pyramid Turtle. It being able to summon defense, and being a zombie for Book of Life.
True.
I think it's just overall the better card. Tomato has some things going for it, like against Vi specifically, like it crashes with Armageddon Knight, or if you like set it and it hit in with Armageddon Knight, it dies to get your Goblin Zombie. But that's like, and it's a dark for Lore and Dad. I think Turtle's just overall better. But I do like the 4th Recruiter just for consistency purposes.
Sure.
Starting your turn with a Goblin Zombie in play just opens up the world to you. So,
Oh, totally.
way to get to it. And then for non-Plague tuners, I play the 2 Diva, and then I also play Gale. It's another Tomato target. Out to problem cards like Vanity, like Postboard. I love this guy. Just like kills Vanity's Fiend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and gives you Black Rose access. Like, if you ever sync like Goblin in this for Black Rose, Chainlink 1 Goblin, Chainlink 2 Black Rose, you can make dupes mistiming and clear the field that
cool.
way. Just a really good card in general. And then for Monarchs, this is somewhat spicy, I guess. So I'm playing 3 Caius, as I've been for a while. But for this event, I also added a Ryza.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
When is that decision?
in a few weeks leading up to... I played this list at Nationals, so that's where I did most of my testing, was leading up to that. And then I played the same list today.
Gotcha. How'd you do Nationals, by the way?
Horrible.
Bummer. Well, you made up for today.
Yeah, I went 1-2 drop at Nationals, but my 2 losses were against good players, and they were close matches. It's just like, it was one of those things where you have to get lucky to win, and
True.
kind of ran into a buzzsaw early. Didn't get out of line.
Happens.
Yeah, but so I made a couple tweaks to this build, but just in general, like, I felt like whether it was like sitting on Recruiters or like sitting on Book of Lives or Instant Fusions, like Caius was always the card I wanted to draw, and I tried out like Legacies of Yada for a bit to kind of like dig deeper for them.
And you're just like, what if I just played another Caius?
Yeah, and we'll get to the spell card lineup, but I made another change to like a list I've been playing for months to help support this. But yeah, I basically just wanted to play a 4th Monarch. These are like what helps you out problem boards, and more importantly, like sacking Goblin for this is just like a free +1 into like any back row versus like synchro plays are way more fragile to back row, especially and like Instant Fusion plus Monarch is like a guaranteed like 2 for 2 into a bottomless or D prison, whereas if you go for like a 2-card synchro play and it gets bottomless or D prison, then you go -1. So yeah, I just felt like I wanted an extra Monarch, and funnily enough, I summoned this 0 times today. Which is wild. I summoned tons of Caius. And this is
that's what you wanted to see anyway. That's the only reason he was in. He was like,
this is essentially supposed to be a 4th Caius.
Maybe you did see him, but he just
for some reason I just like rarely ever saw it, or when I did, never summoned it. And I do side it out a decent bit because I like against oppression decks, for example, I side down on the Instant and Book of Lives, and therefore don't have as much tribute fodder, so I take out the Ryza too.
Yeah.
But yeah, in testing it's been good for me. I like my Monarchs.
Try it out, guys.
I like the grindy play style of it, and then your boss monsters, Gores and Dad. I mean, just play these cards; they're good. For spells, I play 2 Instant Fusion. I've tried 3. 3 was a bit too bricky. It's a bad draw late. If you are below 1,000, you can't activate it.
Right.
But just in general, if you ever draw 2, it's hard to convert them into real cards. Like you need like 2 Monarchs or a Monarch plus a tuner to convert them, because they don't do anything on their own really. So yeah, I feel like 2 is a pretty appropriate number. But for this event, I was playing 2 Book of Life, but we upped it to 3. And that's another reason why I felt comfortable adding in the Ryza, was we have extra special summon to get a body on board for it. I added the 3rd Book of Life mostly because I was expecting a lot of frogs, and this is like one of your best tools.
You found it, man.
Yeah. You lead on like an instant fusion play, and then like Book of Life the Reaper, banish their Treeborn, like you can just put them, or banish their hero for Miracle Fusion, like put them in a rough spot. But like into just like the big 3 decks in general, I think this card is like, if you're not doing other stuff like Ultimate Offering or Heroes, which I'm not doing, like this is kind of your like way you can. I mean, it's a Monster Reborn with a DD Crow attached to it.
Yeah, like it's broken. That's crazy.
Yeah, you banish a Vayu, you banish the level 4 Blackwing to turn off their Blizzards.
And
you
get a guy.
And you get a guy on top of it. Like, I felt comfortable, like, willing to take the increased brick percentage with, like, having access to it. Because, like, those are just such big swings when you combo off and disrupt their graveyard. Like, that's kind of how you can win games with this deck. And then you can, like, side some amount out if you're, like, fearful of Vanity Fiend, Depression, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then for spells, we just play the good limited ones of Heavy, MST, Allure, Mind, Brain. Trap lineup, again, some limited cards. Didn't main Solemn into my side deck. I don't like Solemn into either of the bird decks, Vayu or Blackwing. The life points are just too much, as well as with instant fusions, you pay life points. I like staying alive.
Yeah.
So I
important part of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Decided to side the Solemn for like stuff like Lightsworn or Dragon Turbo, where you like need no buttons to like have outs to like their crazy broken stuff. Like they summon a JD, like you need an answer for that. They go like Trunade OTKU. Like Solemn's one of the few things that can stop that. So that's what I ended up deciding on going. Play 3 of these things. People like attacking me and trying to kill me. I like not dying.
Yeah.
As well as 2 Bottomless. Again, good
Same
card.
reason.
Great against Blackwings. Which is a
Try
hard
to kill me
matchup.
with their monsters. I just move their monsters.
Yeah. Also, I guess I kind of want to do a quick overview
Sure.
of my thinking for this list. I like banishing stuff.
Yeah, you sure do. Holy cow. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's a good call. I mean, like, it shuts off a lot of decks.
Against the big 3, like make sure their like Vayu materials are banished, banish their level 4s to turn off their Blizzards. Against frogs, like banish all their heroes and their frogs. Like
totally.
I want the most powerful cards in my opponent's decks to be rotting dead in hand. Was kind of like the game plan here. So and the 3D prisons kind of like helped facilitate that. Yeah, and then the last traps. I've made 2 decks, Dust Tornado and Zombies, for a while. I think you kind of need at least one. I like to. Flacking matchup's a nightmare. Like I like having ways to not just insta-lose a turn 1 Whirlwind or main deck Oppression. Like, as well as just like clearing back rows for OTKs against most decks is fine. It's like even against frogs, it's like usable even if you're gonna side it out. And then the win the button card or win the game. Button, would recommend playing that one too. Guess we can decide next.
Sure.
For monsters, I just play 3 1-0s here of Breaker, Assailant, Dyna. I was on 2 Dyna for a while, but I dropped it to 1. I felt like it's like against specifically Hero Frogs, it's like not that great. They have a lot of outs to this thing. It's like only really good in your head, or if you like need to destroy an absolute 0 in a pinch. But I felt like just like keeping in my engine and like keeping them under a lot of pressure. Just like making sure I can like wombo combo kill them was like a better win con, I feel like, than just the 1200. But I still think he's good. He's really good against Amaryllis. That's like a matchup I'd want the 2 for sure. But decided to just play 1. This guy doesn't get deck dev'd. That's kind of
over the DD Warrior ladies.
Yeah, so I bring him in versus Blackwings to like cut down on deck dev targets. Like if you can like poke and then banish a like Shura or Bora, again, we want all their guys banished so they can't Blizzard dead me, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I also bring it in versus other matchups. Like this is one of the few cards against like Christia, Sworn, or Fairies is one of the few cards that can out a Christia with Decree on the board, for instance.
Yeah.
So like I brought it in there, and then this card I love. Bringing in against like the bird decks, Blackwing Vayu. I also just bring it in against anything that might side in Floodgates, like again, but where I don't necessarily want like Dust Tornadoes, because it can also be a beater. It's like if I'm expecting a deck to bring in like Decree or like Shadow Imprisoning or something weird like that, it's like an extra out to Floodgates. Yeah. So I like that card a lot. Only spell was Smashing Ground, just a way to out problem stuff. Like Vanity's Fiend and Christia, if they don't attack into my D prisons, I don't really have a bunch of outs to that, so good general purpose card there. This is my favorite anti-frog technology. I just like doing 3 rugs. And you can also bring it in versus Maka and Diva Hero and stuff like that. where it's good. But yeah, like rugging their Swap Frog or rugging their Monarch, and then just like taking your opening and hitting them in the face for a bunch of damage, I think is like
for sure
the way I feel good about tackling that matchup. Extra back row hate, third dust and trap stun. Bringing it for the trap heavy decks. Your zombies are like inherently a little bit of a fragile strategy. There's a lot of floodgates out there that cause us problems. Suppression being the big one, but like I even played against like a macro stun player today.
Oh yeah, Virgil.
Yeah. And these came in there obviously. You just need like a certain number of back row hate, and I feel like post board like heavy MST, triple dust, and trap stun can get you there.
Yeah.
Also compulse. I like this for like the mirror or Vayu or like Diva Hero. Anything that uses the extra a lot. It's a good card. Road, Lightsworn, Blackwing Dragon Turbo. Here's the Solemn. Bring an inverse unfair stuff where you can afford to pay the life points. Mind Crush, I like this versus Lightsworn and Dragon Turbo. This was a new one I tried out as well as Trap Hole. Glad Beasts have gotten more popular, which I don't. It's a bad matchup for this deck.
Yeah.
And I kind of just wanted a card that was like usable against like Glads and Blackwings, which this is. It's also decent against Lightsworn. You can like hit their normal summon and make sure they're not milling on the end phase, which is decent. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not married to the card, but I decided to play it. Also not married to this card, but decided to play it. I feel like I drew it a couple times and never really did anything. But it's in theory for like Graveyard Hate. I don't know. I feel like Graveyard Hate is like always better on paper than in practice for me.
Yeah, you're like, if I run into those dragons or that Vayu, I'm really gonna shove it back in their deck. There's nothing to do. It's even better than banishing sometimes, but like doesn't work out in practice.
That's not a bad card. It's just like the 15th one that I threw in there is like having some type of graveyard disruption. So that's all the main inside, and then for extra deck we play Instant Fusion. These are our targets. I found the I've played like Musician King and Arcanite Magician in the past, but decided like the 2 extra deck slots that requires are just not worth it. Like most of the time you're making Arcanite, like Black Rose with this is just like safer.
Yeah.
Because Arcanite can get bottomless, this can't. So like just like going for Black Rose, clearing the field, and bringing back the Book of Life after the fact and slapping in, I feel like was like good enough. I didn't miss Arcanite at all. I feel like you need the extra deck space. I play Armory Arm. Taking Duke Frogs and Raikos comes up a lot, so that's how you make that. Play Catastrophe for the 1/5. 6s, we play a bunch because we're zombies. Brio, Goyo, of course, Busted. Also play Gaia Knight, Uru, and Hades. You could maybe play like Doom Kaiser over this or something, or like this, but I feel like these are the 3 that come up the most in my testing. Sometimes you just need this for lethal shots, and then sometimes you just need this to beat over Stardust if you either use your Goyo or like want to just like throw it out there, beta bottomless, and some of your Goyo later, something like that.
Sure.
For 7s, we play these guys. So this, like, if you ever get your like against frogs, if you ever get off like the instant summon a tuner, make this guy Book of Life back the Reaper, stack a card, rip a card thing off, you're feeling pretty good.
For sure.
It's just really good against decks that hold big hands.
It's like Yata lock them sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And then Black Rose, obviously. And then for 8s, nothing too crazy here. Play the good ones of these guys, and then last but not least, the Articuno Gore's token.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's the list.
Cool, man. Well, thanks so much for coming. I know it was a long day. You kept your cool. Dang, man.
9 rounds of Swiss, then 2 rounds of top.
Yeah, wild.
Some people over there are still going in top 4.
I know, it's crazy. You got any shout outs?
Well, shout out to Keegan and Feel Good Gaming for running this. This was so fun. I'm very happy that I finally got my RBET top 8. It's been a long time coming, in my opinion.
Badass, man. You did it.
Won a Stardust Dragon, which is like my favorite card. So like
nice.
Pretty cool
the collector's
prize.
rare, right?
Collector's rare one.
Hell yeah.
It looks pretty sweet. There's like too many shout outs. I'm gonna forget people, but shout out like all my teammates on Crow's Nest. Shout out everyone in the Iron chat that like hangs out, bounce ideas off of playtests. Shout out to like my local crew in San Diego. You guys all know who you are.
Yeah.
And just like shout out to the Edison community in general for like, I think there's almost 270 people for this event. Like that's so cool that we have this like thing that so many people are willing to travel for and play in big events, and it's like so much fun. So shout out to everyone. It was a lot of fun today, and yeah, appreciate you all.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Travel safe.